Welcome into the show, everyone, on Black Friday. This is Delmarva Sports Insider. Beside me, I've got a local legend, Trayvon Miles. We've also got the pride of Delaware, Brandon Bossert, and then Lewis's own Drew Williams standing by, getting loose in the pen.
That's
right.
What
I want to say tonight.
Yep. You're Ryan Eldridge, right?
I am Ryan Eldridge.
Yeah, we can't leave you out. We can't leave you out. Of course, welcome into the only show on the shore dedicated to all sports here on Delmarva.
And we started the season covering 27 football teams. Tonight, we're down to just 2, so let's get right into it.
Yeah, it's like the calm before the storm. We got the big games coming up, and we're all just getting ready.
You know what? I guess you can describe it like that. Who would have thought? Only one Bayside team remaining, and it's the Cambridge Vikings, right? Who had that on their radar?
Nobody.
Nobody. Cambridge has never been the biggest. They've never been the fastest or the strongest team, but this year they have consistently found ways to win football games. Got to give credit to Coach Gavin Parker, who I thought should have won Coach of the Year for what he's been able to squeeze out of this team. You got to give him some love for that.
Absolutely, and we caught up with the Vikings ahead of their state semifinal appearance, and this is some of what they had to say.
We've been playing with each other since we were younger, and before the season workouts and everything, we were all about everybody coming all in this season, because this isn't my last season. I'm a senior, and all the seniors came together, and we got the juniors to buy in, sophomores, even the upcoming freshmen, and this year I feel like we've all bought in. Some I guess last teams, not everybody was all in, and this year we're all in because we're trying to do it for the city.
We don't have much respect over here. They always think of us as the Eastern Shore team, and they're never going to beat a Baltimore team, but we proved that last Friday. But these boys still don't respect us, so we're just going to have to earn our respect.
So that's what it's all about. It's all about us. This team is very capable of making some noise. I think there are a lot of people within the state who are already, writing in Dunbar versus Fort Hill, and I got to respect that. Those two. I was talking to the Dunbar coach. They've been to the state semifinals 6 straight times. Fort Hill's been to the state championship. 10 straight times. So when you look at it, we just have to go and play our game, and see where the cards lie.
So a lot of that, nobody believes in us.
Yeah.
Nobody respects us.
You see that, right?
Do you buy into that? Is that how you feel about Cambridge?
No, well, I feel like what they've been able to do, they've surprised so many people this year. Why not keep surprising, right? I think their players are going to buy into that tomorrow. We used to say that they didn't play anybody. We used to say that they had an easy walk to the 1 seed into the playoffs. Well, guys, it worked. We're sitting here, and Cambridge is the only team left from the Bayside Conference, and 1 game away from a state championship appearance. That in itself is pretty amazing.
Absolutely, and we've had a lot of doubters surrounding this team so far this year. After that double overtime loss to Easton, they could have easily gone to the playoffs, gotten wiped out, but the last couple of weeks they've really shown us something, beating Falston and then Edmondson, and now they're going up against a really tough challenge, but that Henry to Middleton connection has been working all season.
Yeah, Middleton's got the record now.
Yeah,
he's the all-time leading receiver, so that's really, really good. And Cameron Lake.
Yeah, Cameron Lake.
Khalid Beasley.
And that's
good.
right. They've got that double-headed monster on the ground, too. So they've got a lot to work with going against Dunbar. So,
yeah, I'm absolutely feeling like that they could possibly get it done. But we'll send it over.
Yeah, we'll see. But let's toss it over to Drew Williams, who has more on Cambridge.
Thanks, Brandon. Now, you guys mentioned the Vikings. A few games that have certainly changed the fabric of not only the course of the season, but kind of molded the identity of this team. Now, here's a couple of reasons why they're back into their first state semifinal appearance since 2014. Now, one of those first things was that Y-High game. The Vikings had just come off a win in which they completely dismantled Colonel Richardson, in which everyone thought that was going to be a big game. The Indians were off to a solid season themselves. It was a back-and-forth affair the whole game, and ultimately CSD trailed by 3 without the ball with just 2 minutes left to go. Now, Y-High had a chance to close this game out. They ultimately fumbled the snap, only for the Vikings to recover and take over at the Y-High 14-yard line. After a few plays, QB John Henry would won in the game's final score, putting CSD ahead 32-28 for good. A big emotional win for Cambridge and certainly gave them a ton of confidence. And the second cornerstone of the season was a victory, even in defeat. Call it the Vikings' own battle of Thermopylae, standing tall even till the bitter end. It solidified the structure of this team. Cambridge certainly had their hands full with Easton, arguably the best offense in the Bayside. Now, CSD controlled the game and even led 21-12 at one point. But the Vikings didn't back down after a couple of jabs back. The teams matched punches in tandem so effortlessly that Frazier and Ali couldn't scoff at it. And unlike the throw in Manila, this one actually went the whole distance. And after a missed extra point, we had to go to OT. And naturally, both teams tallied points across the board, so we got to go to a second overtime. And eventually, John Henry's pass will be picked off by none other than Brogan Stofa, who got his redemption from missing that extra point to steal the 40-34 win over Cambridge. Now, the Vikings hung in with Easton in double overtime. Even though they didn't win, this game certainly was the spark that fueled their playoff run. So guys, the Vikings have a couple steps left to go en route to hoisting the trophy with a big matchup tomorrow. Break it down for us.
So the stage is set tomorrow, 1A state semifinal. Cambridge traveling to the heart, and I mean the heart of Baltimore City, to take on Dunbar. The Poets have been to 6 straight state semifinals, and they've been to the final in 5 of the last 10 seasons. They are expecting to be there. So I guess the question is, can Cambridge knock off the Poets on the road?
You asking that question of yourself? Because I think everybody wants to know your prediction for the game and not the news anchors.
You know, I didn't think Cambridge would win the game last week, you know, so I don't really want to count them out, but I think this one is a little different. Dunbar is a state power. It's going to be intimidating on the road up against Maryland royalty. You look in the record books of Maryland history in high school, you see a lot of things that say Dunbar. I do think it's going to be a tough task. Ultimately, I got to say, I really think Cambridge falls in this game. And that's fine because I know Cambridge and everyone else, this team included and the coaching staff, probably feels like everybody feels that way. So
them out again.
Absolutely, Well, I think Cambridge definitely has their hands full coming in. Like you mentioned, Dunbar has been to 6 straight state semifinals.
That's impressive.
The one thing that's working against them, I've noticed that their roster is made up of a bunch of juniors and sophomores, so maybe inexperience plays a part. Cambridge has a lot of really seasoned seniors on their team, so that could be an advantage to Cambridge going into this game. But Dunbar has allowed 90 points all season.
Wow.
Yeah, 90 points all season.
That's tough.
And they have some playmakers on offense. Karan Moore at quarterback, Tyreek Sykes, and a really big bulldozer at running back as well, Dion Cruz Harris. So they've got a lot of good playmakers on offense. They've got a stout defense. And I hate to say it, but I do see Cambridge going down in this game.
You predicted last week that Sussex Central would go down and go down hard, so, you know, maybe.
We're going to bring that up again?
we had
How are we
to.
talking about
We
this
had
still?
to.
So
no.
I mean, it pains me to say it. You know, I love this Cambridge team. I really do.
Absolutely. I do too.
We know
like
you're a big
said,
fan of John Henry.
They just
big fan of John Henry.
They just have their hands full in this one. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the A block. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, Delaware, we have not forgot about you. One Henlopen team remaining as well. The Woodbridge Blue Raiders looking to make it back-to-back titles. That and more when Delmarva Sports Insider returns.
My name is Trenton Hillard. I play for North Carolina High School, and this is Delmarva Sports Insider.